Hey there. So you've probably heard all about the drama surrounding Melanie Martinez lately, right? If you've been on social media at all, especially TikTok, you couldn't have missed it. Today I'm going to break down everything that's been happening with Melanie Martinez and her ex-boyfriend Verde, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack. But before we dive in, let me just say that I'm not here to promote hate toward anyone. This is simply an analysis of the situation based on publicly available information. I've been following Melanie's career for years, so I've got a pretty good understanding of her background and the controversies surrounding her. If you're somehow unfamiliar with Melanie Martinez, let me quickly catch you up. She's an artist who gained massive popularity with her unique aesthetic, the split dyed hair, the baby doll style, and her distinct musical style. Even if you don't know her by name, you've probably heard some of her songs like Playdate, which went viral on TikTok, Dollhouse, Soap, or Teacher's Pet. Her popularity exploded among teenagers and young adults, with many people copying her distinct style and aesthetic. Her most recent album, Portals, surprised many fans as she started appearing as this pink, alien-like creature, hiding her face completely during performances and promotional appearances. So here's what happened recently. Melanie Martinez and her boyfriend Verde had been together for over 3 years. Then just a few weeks ago, fans noticed something odd. Melanie had unfollowed Verde everywhere. People started asking questions, and Melanie eventually responded to a comment confirming that, yes, they had broken up a while ago, but she didn't want to make a big deal about it. She claimed they wished each other well and asked fans to move on because, well, people break up all the time, right? That should have been the end of it, but Verde had something else to say. He reposted Melanie's comment on his Instagram story with quite the response. He wrote, "This is cap, by the way." For those who don't know, cap means lying. He continued saying that Melanie got a new boyfriend less than a month after their breakup, and there was definitely no wishing well from her side. Verde claimed that Melanie's management reached out to him, saying he couldn't sell his books to her fans anymore, and she wouldn't allow him to see their dogs. He added, "Love her always though, and I get it, do whatever you need to do to get over it, we're just humans. Never cheated on her either." Wait, what? That last part raised eyebrows. Why would he specifically mention not cheating? This led fans to speculate that perhaps Melanie had cheated on Verde with her new boyfriend. Speaking of which, shortly after this drama unfolded, Melanie started posting pictures with an Australian actor named Mojean Aria. They were soon publicly announcing their relationship, with photos of them kissing and being a couple all over social media. Melanie's fans quickly went to work making edits of the new couple, as fan communities often do.
Tired girl, tired girl, tired girl.
The timing of this new relationship, coming so quickly after the breakup with Verde, made many fans question Melanie's character. How could she move on so fast from a 3-year relationship? Was there overlap? Did she cheat? And how did Melanie respond to these allegations? Well, she posted a house tour. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of addressing any of the concerns or allegations from her fans, she shared a 1-minute video showing off her home, talking about her furniture, her art, and how she loves organic shapes and pastel colors.
Hello, welcome to my house tour. I love organic shapes, pastel colors, fun pottery, and generally lots of natural light. So when I designed this house, I wanted to keep in mind all of my favorite things. I've always been a homebody, and my Saturn return is in the 4th house, which represents home. So it's really important for me to have a safe haven where I can be inspired and spend most of my time creating. The last house that I was in for 6 years was very spooky and haunted, and as much as I love befriending spirits, it was really nice to find a new home with very clean and peaceful energy. Although it looked very different before and has gone through so many changes, I knew that this house had the perfect bones for me, and I'm excited to see what changes come next.
Now, of course, Melanie doesn't owe anyone an explanation about her personal life, but many fans felt that this response, or lack thereof, was tone deaf. especially given the serious nature of what was being implied. However, here's where things get really interesting. This relationship drama, the possibility that Melanie might have cheated, was enough for some fans to completely stop supporting her. And what's baffling about this is that these same fans had stood by her through much more serious controversies in the past. The biggest controversy in Melanie's career came in 2017 when her former best friend, Timothy Heller, came forward with sexual assault allegations against her as part of the #MeToo movement. Timothy and Melanie had been very close friends. There are countless photos and videos of them together, always hanging out and seeming inseparable. But in December 2017, Timothy shared a lengthy statement on Twitter detailing her allegations.
Nice to know ya, let's do it again. How we did it in a one-night stand. Maybe wanna be more than a friend. Do ya?
To summarize what Timothy shared, she claimed that Melanie took her in and helped her when she needed it, but their friendship became unhealthy. Timothy said that Melanie made her feel guilty for struggling mentally, and that she had to apologize for having panic attacks because it ruined Melanie's night. She felt there was a codependency in the friendship where everything revolved around Melanie, and the singer had a lot of power over her.
It just kind of also felt like giving up on music. And I wish that I could say that in private and while I was away, I was able to revisit it and enjoy it, but it's never been the same, and I really just don't believe in myself anymore. And the problem is that I'm 32 and it's still the only thing that I've felt like I've ever been good at.
According to Timothy, one night, Melanie began asking detailed questions about Timothy's sexual preferences, which made her uncomfortable, especially as she had been a victim of abuse in her past. While they were lying in bed, Melanie allegedly asked Timothy if she would ever sleep with her. Timothy, who had a boyfriend at the time, said no and tried to laugh it off, but Melanie reportedly kept asking.
I'm gonna respond to you people for one last time on this app. And you guys are gonna say, she's crashing out. You people absolutely so 100% seriously need to get therapy. And you're gonna hear me say that and think that that's me trying to insult you. Literally saying this from a place of concern. You are going to grow up and look back on this time in your life and feel so much shame. A type of shame that I would not personally know how to live with. And you may be in a place mentally right now where you aren't even aware how unhappy you are. But it's going to hit you, and it's going to hit you extremely hard, and you literally need the resources for when that happens. I was in therapy for 7 straight years every week to survive what you all have put me through, and that's the only reason I'm still alive. You're going to snap out of this, and I am going to forgive you. But are you going to be able to forgive yourself? That's the real question.
Timothy claimed that the next night, Melanie convinced her to smoke marijuana with her, and then again tried to persuade her to engage in sexual activities. Despite Timothy saying no repeatedly and mentioning her boyfriend, her need to sleep, and the work next day, Melanie allegedly continued. Timothy stated that she eventually allowed Melanie to touch her chest, which led to more without her consent. Timothy emphasized that she never said yes, said no repeatedly, and was in shock during the incident. After Timothy's allegations went viral, Melanie responded with a brief statement on Twitter. "I am horrified and saddened by the statements and story told tonight by Timothy Heller. What she and I shared was a close friendship for a period of time. We came into each other's lives as we were both starting our careers as artists, and we tried to help each other. We both had pain in dealing with our individual demons and the new paths we were forging. But I truly felt we were trying to lift each other up. She never said no to what we chose to do together. And although we parted ways, I am sending her love and light always." In this response, Melanie didn't deny that something physical happened between them. She just claimed it was consensual because she never said no. However, as Timothy pointed out in her statement, not saying no doesn't mean saying yes, and silence does not equal consent. The fan reaction was initially mixed. Many were horrified and began destroying their Melanie merchandise, burning shirts, and breaking vinyl records. However, as Timothy started giving interviews and sharing more details about her story, some inconsistencies emerged in the timeline and specific details. Melanie's fans, desperate to defend their favorite artist, began meticulously analyzing every detail of Timothy's story, looking for holes or contradictions. They compared dates, photos of Melanie's hair at different times, and anything else they could find to discredit Timothy's account. Seeing this, Melanie released another statement, thanking her fans for revealing false statements in Timothy's story. While Melanie was specifically referring to certain details that didn't add up, many fans interpreted this as confirmation that Timothy's entire story was fabricated, even though Melanie had previously confirmed that a physical encounter did take place. Around the same time, Melanie released a song called Piggyback on SoundCloud, with lyrics that seemed to suggest Timothy was lying for fame and taking advantage of her. This further convinced fans that Timothy was making false accusations.
We were 9 years old and I moved away, I wish I had. She's the only one who sees me for who I really am instead of how many I reach. Ooh. Trusted too many fake people while I was too young. Gave them the benefit of the doubt, I was so wrong. I got them lost in the game to black, cause it ain't no.
The backlash against Timothy was severe. She was bullied off the internet, doxxed, and harassed. Some fans even created fake screenshots purporting to show Timothy admitting she had lied about the whole thing for clout. Despite knowing she'd likely face harassment again, Timothy resurfaced in 2024 to address all the misconceptions about her story. In a TikTok video, she explained how coming forward with her allegations ruined her life. She clarified that after her initial statement describing what happened, Melanie's response actually validated part of her experience when Melanie used the phrase, "She never said no to what we chose to do together."
So obviously I'm told triggering things hundreds of times a day. One of my least favorite things to read is that I'm obsessed with her, or anything implying that. I wished so badly that I didn't have to think about her every day, but you all make that impossible. I'm assuming that you're referring to the video that I made saying that I was gonna try to post about other things. I did that for 2 months, and you people never stopped. Not to mention the 3 years that I disappeared from the internet. And during those 3 years, it was great to not have to read these things every day. But at the same time, you were all running rampant, and these stories that you made up about me were, taken as truth. So I finally made that video in July and stood up for myself. And as far as the reposts, I've never been able to experience people supporting me in this way. In the 8 years since I first came out with my story, I have never had this kind of support, and so when I see these videos people are making in defense of me, it's so validating. Not to mention that I feel like sometimes these people say things better than I ever could, and I repost them in hopes that some of you will watch them and it'll click for you. So it's not me being a hater or being obsessed, it's me trying to get you guys to snap out of it.
Timothy pointed out, while I did say no in many different ways, the sentence was actually quite validating for me to hear. She clearly didn't understand how consent works, and she admitted that something took place between us.
The sentence, "She never said no to what we chose to do together." While I did say no, in many different ways, the sentence was actually quite validating for me to hear.
The problem came when Timothy did an interview with Daily Mail, where she was asked for more specific details, including when the incident took place. Since it had been around 2 years prior, she didn't remember the exact date. She referenced a picture in her camera roll from what she thought was the day after the incident, but was mistaken about the timing. This discrepancy gave Melanie's fans ammunition. They went back through Melanie's posts and found that on that specific date, Melanie and Timothy were in different states. Melanie then released a second statement thanking her fans for researching the timeline and analyzing past Instagram posts, which revealed my false statements. Unfortunately, this was enough for most of Melanie's fans to dismiss Timothy's entire story, despite the contradiction in Melanie's own statements. After this, Melanie released what Timothy describes as essentially a diss track, with lyrics suggesting Timothy had fabricated the allegations for fame.
We were 5 years old and I moved away. I wish I had. She's the only one who sees me for who I really am instead of how many I reach. Ooh. Trusted too many fake people while I was too young. Gave them the benefit of the doubt. I was so wrong. I got them off and they gave up like cause they didn't know.
The backlash Timothy experienced was overwhelming. While she gained tens of thousands of followers after speaking out, she explains that the majority of the followers were people who actively hated me. She suddenly had thousands of hate comments dedicated to her, thousands of dislikes and negative comments on all her music, and completely fabricated stories being posted about her online. One audience commented, "Girl, you're just making stuff to make people bull Melanie, but you're making it worse than it already is. You're being just as worse as Melanie has been. I do like Melanie, and I don't know what to believe." I really hoped it would die out and people who liked me would stick around and I'd be able to move on with my career, but it never died, Timothy shared. Anything I attempted to do was infected with this story. Googling me results in many first-page results calling me a liar. The harassment went beyond online abuse. People who hated her actively worked to ruin every opportunity she had. Partnerships with brands and modeling opportunities were all flooded with comments saying I lied about SA. Even worse, her home address, phone number, and family's phone numbers were all leaked. Timothy became so discouraged with her music career that she essentially stopped. She tried to pivot to other work, but says that she was also sabotaged when people who hated her hacked her accounts. Every single one of her social media accounts was hacked, including her email. I was given the classic F the haters advice, but until you're bombarded with the amount that I had to endure, you really can't imagine how it would affect you, Timothy explained. I was just so much louder than any amount of support I was receiving. The situation took a severe toll on her mental health. While I wish I was the type of person with the confidence to say F the haters and stick it out, I'm just not. I'm sensitive, and I'm not self-confident and never have been, and this made it so much worse. Here's what's truly jarring about this whole situation. When Timothy came forward with her allegations of sexual assault, she was met with intense skepticism, hatred, and harassment. Her life was effectively ruined. Fast forward to the recent relationship drama between Melanie and Verde. When Verde made a single Instagram story suggesting Melanie had moved on quickly, though he never explicitly accused her of cheating, fans immediately took his side and turned against Melanie. As Timothy herself pointed out when commenting on this situation, it's frustrating when what it takes is a man talking about something far less serious happening to him. Regardless of if it really happened or not, people will listen to these far less serious allegations and say, I'm starting to realize she's not a good person. And I'm over here like, hello.
I make these things about me, or every chance that I can get attention, I try to get more attention. And I really hate that narrative and never want it to seem that way. The thing is, I never would have commented on this if I wasn't getting the comments that I was, which were hundreds of people saying, now I see what you're saying, now I see that she's a bad person, I'm so sorry. And that's really frustrating. And while I'm grateful for any reason that someone may change their mind about what happened to me, it's frustrating when what it takes is a man talking about something far less serious happening to him. And it's not like he has proof of the things that he's saying either. As far as what happened in that situation, I really don't have an opinion on it. I don't have opinion on if it happened or not.
Just imagine trying to get people to listen to your story for years, being bullied off the internet, doxxed, and essentially having your career destroyed just for speaking up about something that allegedly happened to you, and nobody believed you. Meanwhile, everyone immediately believed Verde based on a vague Instagram story with no proof. It's a stark double standard. Timothy, a woman who tried to tell her story, was immediately dismissed, ignored, bullied, and doxxed just for speaking up. Yet when Verde made his claim, people immediately ran with it and decided Melanie was a cheater, even though Verde never actually said that. He simply stated that she moved on quickly and that he never cheated on her, which some fans interpreted as implying that she had cheated on him. Let's talk about some other concerning patterns in Melanie's career that fans have been willing to overlook. For about 2 years, Melanie repeatedly told her fans that she was struggling with debt while simultaneously releasing expensive merchandise collections. In 2023, there was a major controversy surrounding Melanie's merchandise for her album Portals. 2 items in particular caused significant discussion: candles and a K-12 dress. The candles, which came in a hatched egg design to symbolize rebirth, cost $75 each, not including shipping and additional fees. If you wanted the entire collection, you'd be looking at about $1,000. But here's the kicker. Fans reported receiving these expensive candles damaged or melted. Even worse, people discovered that nearly identical egg-shaped candles are being sold at Poundland in the UK for just £1. A candle maker who analyzed the product pointed out that the materials would cost about $6 to make. And even being generous about the ceramic vessel, adding $20, and doubling for labor, the candles should have cost no more than $52. Yet Melanie was charging $75. As for the K-12 dress, it was priced at nearly $200 despite being made of 100% polyester. Customers who purchased it reported that it was itchy, uncomfortable, and the skirt was see-through. For a dress costing $275, you'd expect it to at least be wearable. When fans complained about these issues, Melanie responded saying, "I do not make millions. When the label pays money for my videos, that's how much money I go in debt for my art. I'm risking my stability and my ability to pay my bills every time I make a video or any kind of high-quality art." But here's the thing, there's no official record of Melanie being in debt to any company she works with. At that time, she had successfully completed 2 tours, which likely generated significant income. And later, when she posted a house tour of what appears to be a luxurious home, it became pretty clear that she wasn't struggling financially as she had claimed.
Hello, welcome to my house tour. I love organic shapes, pastel colors, fun pottery, and generally lots of natural light. So when I designed this house, I wanted to keep in mind all of my favorite things. I've always been a homebody, and my Saturn return is in the 4th house, which represents home. So it's really important for me to have a safe haven where I can be inspired and spend most of my time creating. The last house that I was in for 6 years was very spooky and haunted, and as much as I love befriending spirits, it was really nice to find a new home with very clean and peaceful energy. Although it looked very different before and has gone through so many changes, I knew that this house had the perfect bones for me, and I'm excited to see what changes come next.
Another controversy involves Melanie's coloring book based on her first album, Crybaby, and the character of the same name. The Crybaby character is a little child going through some dark experiences. In the album's narrative, Crybaby's mom is an alcoholic, her father is cheating, and the character experiences various traumatic events, including growing up in a dysfunctional family, being kidnapped, and eventually killing someone. It's this story, but one page in particular caused significant controversy. It shows the crybaby character sitting in a bathtub, crying and eating soap. Many people found the illustration disturbing, as the character appears to be making what some described as a suggestive facial expression, and her feet are prominently displayed in the foreground. While Melanie didn't create the artwork herself, it was made by an artist who is a fan. She did approve it for official merchandise and posters. The artwork is described as conceived by Melanie in the coloring book. What's most striking about this entire situation is the contrast in fan reactions. For years, Melanie's most devoted fans stood by her through every controversy. The Timothy Heller allegations, the questionable merchandise practices, the apparent financial dishonesty, and the controversial imagery in her coloring book. Yet what finally caused some fans to withdraw their support was relatively minor relationship drama. The possibility that Melanie might have cheated on Verde or moved on too quickly after their breakup. It's a disturbing prioritization of values. Sexual assault allegations weren't enough to make these fans reconsider their support, but potential infidelity was their breaking point. Even more ironic is that the relationship drama that caused such an uproar has largely been resolved. Verde later said on Instagram that he shouldn't have posted that story, that he didn't want to make a big deal of it, and that he regretted posting it. He deleted this story and the situation seems to be over. One thing that's particularly concerning at both the Timothy Heller situation and this current drama is the power dynamics at play. According to Timothy, Melanie held significant power in their friendship, making it difficult for Timothy to say no or stand up for herself.
Nice to know ya, let's do it again. How we did it in a one night stand. Maybe wanna be more than a friend. Do ya?
Similarly, in the situation with Verde, we see Melanie allegedly using her power and influence to prevent him from selling his books to her fans or seeing their dogs. If true, this represents a concerning pattern of behavior where Melanie uses her position of power to control others or get what she wants. This type of behavior isn't uncommon among celebrities who have grown accustomed to getting their way and having people accommodate their every desire. When you're surrounded by yes people and adoring fans who defend your every action, it can be easy to lose perspective on appropriate boundaries and behavior. The reaction of Melanie's fan base to these various controversies highlights some troubling aspects of fan culture. The intense devotion some fans feel toward their favorite artists can lead them to defend behaviors they would condemn in anyone else. We've seen this with Melanie's fans who vigorously defended her against sexual assault allegations, participated in the harassment of Timothy Heller, and dismissed other concerning behaviors. This type of blind loyalty can enable celebrities to continue problematic behaviors without facing real consequences. At the same time, the fans who are now leaving over the relationship drama highlight another aspect of fan culture, the parasocial relationship where fans feel personally invested in and betrayed by celebrities' romantic choices, as if they know them personally. This whole saga with Melanie Martinez highlights some troubling aspects of celebrity culture and fan behavior. It shows how parasocial relationships can lead fans to defend behaviors in their favorite artists that they would condemn in anyone else. It demonstrates how power dynamics can play out both in personal relationships and between celebrities and their fans. It also raises important questions about how we respond to allegations of misconduct, particularly when they involve sexual assault. The contrasting relations to Timothy's allegations versus Verde's Instagram story reveal disturbing double standards in how we treat different types of claims and who we choose to believe. What do you think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.